This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Morning Drive with Chris Snead is in for Jamie this morning. And Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. For that, it's presented by Happy State Bank. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is soupy outside. Soupy may even be a nice word. If you do not have the first flight out of Lubbock today, good luck.
Oof.
Good luck, because there's nothing landing this morning. I didn't even see my usual FedEx plane landing this morning that I usually see on my way to work.
The fog deal is they can take off in it, they just can't land it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. If you're the first one out this morning, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
If you've got
there was a plane here for you.
Yeah, there was one here for you.
There won't be one if you have the second plane that hasn't landed.
If you've got the 8:05 to Dallas for your noon lunch, sorry about you. Ain't gonna happen. It's so soupy. We're directly across the street from the Civic Center. I could not see the Civic Center when I pulled into the compound this morning.
Yeah.
I could not see it at the stop sign right there as you at Mac Davis and Avenue O.
Did you do your Indy 500 down?
No, I've stopped that. I've stopped using that exit. I used the Q exit, and I've got another.
Why did you stop?
Because it was taking too long. I used the
That's
Q
the way
exit.
I came today.
I used the Q exit, turn right, and then right before the hodl, the cheap hodl, in between the nice hodl and the cheap hodl, there's a little entryway, little side street there, a little hidden side street there, and I use that. And you can go and then turn right and you're into the compound.
It may or may not also have been the number of times that Jamie and I were asking the Lubbock Sheriff's Office and the Lubbock Police Department to meet him on the raceway over here.
Because I talked to at the Lubbock Chamber Barbecue, the one of the number twos, not the guy that's in jail, okay, but one of the number twos who's a solid citizen and is a assistant chief of police, associate chief of police, is like high on the food chain, okay? And he told me he does the same thing. Use that expressway there by Buddy Holly Hall.
He has lights and sirens. You do not.
Anyway.
And authority.
So if you're planning on getting out of town this morning, it's...
You know who didn't have lights and sirens?
Who's that?
Our police escort at Georgia this week.
Oh, my God. What a travesty.
Have you ever seen the streets in Georgia? Athens, it's like having a football game in Levelland, dude.
All I've seen are the between the hedges. So at any rate, so if you have a joy or concern, something great that happened to you over the weekend or disastrous, you want to share that with us and lean on our shoulders this morning, you certainly can. A couple things about the football game from Saturday. How about this for Taj Brooks? I mean, this is I think a stunning stat for him. Taj Brooks in the ball game had 33 carries, okay? He had 133 yards in rushing. Do you want to know what his net was?
What was it?
133.
Wow.
So that means he touched the ball 33 times and was not stopped at all behind the line of scrimmage. 33. There are no... yardage.
No. Okay. I was actually trying to replay it in my head.
No yardage loss.
Yeah.
No yardage loss for him.
I know he had a draw when we got no yards.
Okay, but
I'm not poo-pooing it. I think it's a great stat.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. I mean, he had the one touchdown. Baron Morton was sacked a couple of times, but all totaled. The Red Raiders 44 rushes, 136 yards. Morton was 19 of 25, had one interception, threw for 176 yards. But just kind of looking at some of my notes in the game. So for Taj, he went over 100 yards with 2:19 to go in the second quarter on 20 carries. The Red Raiders obviously came out after getting KU to go 3 and out because Tech won the toss. 7 plays, 50 yards, and go up 7-0. And we saw the value of your punter, because KU's punter was constantly punting into the wind. It's always a south wind up there, and it's always at this time of year it can be blustery, and so it must have been, because that first punt for Kansas went 24 yards, and Red Raiders got the ball at the 50-yard line, and then they forced another punt. Tech did another 3-and-out, and again a poor punt, 30 yards. Red Raiders take over on their own 44. You have a holding call that brings back a Taj Brooks touchdown.
Yeah.
But then you get a 32-yard field goal for Gino Garcia, and you go up 10-0 there at the 3:24 mark of the first quarter. You did convert on a 4th and 1 there.
Yeah.
And then this is what's critical. The next series for Kansas is when their quarterback Jason Bean is injured with 42 seconds to go in the first quarter, and it turns out his coach yesterday said it was a head injury. I think we all
thought it was a
lower leg or knee,
but they were checking on his knee. But I wonder if they were doing some hijinks out there.
Well, I don't know, because it looked like it, but he
came back in. I wonder if he got hit again.
I don't know, but he wasn't out long. But they had a 4th and 3 that failed for them, and so Tech gets the ball at their own 33, and this is where Morton throws the interception, throws it into triple coverage. And then Bean goes back out, and then he goes to the locker room, and Ballard comes back in at quarterback.
Is that the one where at the end zone? Yeah.
And so in this particular case, so after it was right there at the KU 1-yard line where the interception was.
You know what the frustrating thing about that? He threw it into triple coverage right there. If you look right in the middle of the end zone, just see who's standing there by himself.
Is it Miles Price?
Miles Price.
Yeah.
Standing there with nobody standing around him.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are we trying to make that play?
But but this is the first of the 3 just outstanding inside the 10-yard line defensive stands that you had, because they had the ball inside the 6 3 times in the game. KU did, and came away with 6 points. Mm-hmm. So your defense was just outstanding.
Yeah.
But this is the first 4th and goal at the 1, and you stop them, and just they went 18 plays, 93 yards, 8 minutes and 43 seconds, and it's still 10-0 at that point.
Yeah, I was impressed by Tim DeRuyter's defense this weekend.
No question.
I mean, they gave up one big play to Neal, but it goes 70 yards for a touchdown. I mean, that play,
60 yards was the touchdown.
60 yards?
Yeah.
Okay, regardless, one big play in the game, and it was unfortunate that it happened when it did, because it brought them right back into the game.
Yeah, got them. But when Tech punted, Austin McNamara, there's a drive that ends at your own 20, starts at your own 26, but the drive stalls, and he punts it 47 yards into the wind.
Yeah, that was
and they had bad field position all game long.
Impressive kick
all game long because of what your defense is doing, and because of Austin McNamara, and then decisions like for Texas Tech in the second half, in the third quarter, your 6th drive, you start at your own 42, but you have a 4th and 2, and you punt it, and KU then right after that, you have the interception by Dadrian Taylor-Demerson that leads to the field goal by Gino Garcia from 31 yards out to put you up 13-0. So I thought good use of punting in the ball game by Texas Tech. And it's funny because I was going to bring this up to Jamie today, because last year about this time, and Jamie talked about this quite a bit in the offseason, and we talked about this some at this point in time of the season. He said they started kind of changing up some of their philosophy in November in terms of going forward on 4th down. They did it less. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that came back to them or if they just looked at the conditions and said, hey, we're doing a really good job defensively. Let's pin them back.
I think that the weather, the way your defense was playing, it lent itself to playing more of a field position game. And you were able to keep them bottled up and pin deep.
Yeah.
Force the freshman and take them the length of the field.
Yeah, no question. And then your guys did what they needed to do.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app, presented by Happy State Bank for that. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too, 806-771-0973. Chris Snead's in for Jamie this morning. Jeff and I are here as usual. Let me give you a couple of tidbits from the Cowboy game yesterday. One, CeeDee Lamb, it was his third straight game with 10 or more receptions and 150 or more receiving yards. That is the longest streak in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah, it came right after he started complaining about not getting the ball.
Well, I mean,
maybe they should give him the ball more.
He's living up to number 88.
I agree.
He's living up to number 88. And then how about this for the Cowboys? Cowboys outgained the Giants by 525 yards yesterday. It's the largest differential since 1962.
Brian Daboll's team they're going backwards, and they have a third string quarterback. Yeah, it magnifies the value of a quality starting quarterback in the National Football League.
The differential then in 1962 was 574 yards, but it's the largest since then. I mean, think about it. JFK was still the president the last time that happened.
Yeah, I mean they're bringing a pea shooter to a tank fight every week, and it's just I kind of feel bad for that team, sorta. No, I really don't feel bad. Really. I really don't. Because it's the National Football League. No one's crying for you.
Yeah.
Injuries happen.
Yeah, just the way it is.
Go ask anybody how. Ask the Minnesota Vikings how they feel about losing their starting quarterback.
Although
they traded and made a great pickup, and Josh Dobbs is.
They've won 5 straight. They've won 5 straight.
How about Josh Dobbs, man?
Yeah,
that guy, quietly, pretty good quarterback in the league this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, so going back to the Tech game from Saturday, and we've already talked about this a little bit, but just kind of playing the what if game just for a moment. So, and Chris brought it up first, and it was brought up on the broadcast, but second and goal at the Texas Tech 7. There's a rush for 4 yards to the middle to the Texas Tech 3. So now there's 35 seconds left, and Joey McGuire calls timeout. Mm-hmm. And basically, you want to have some time left on the clock in case they score, so that you could see if you could do something, right?
Exactly.
See if you could do something. I wonder if KU overthought it, because you've got Devin Neal, and he's your stud running back, and even though he hadn't done a whole lot, he had that 60-yard run. He's their guy. He's their guy who, in that game, surpassed John Riggins and Gale Sayers on the rushing list. Those are 2 pretty heady names for that program, even though they're from a million years ago. And they elect to throw. They elect to do a shotgun to Neal, and then he throws an incomplete pass in the end zone.
I saw the direct snap. I thought, okay, they're just going to go off tackle right up the middle with him, or cut to the left side, because where had they had success all day? Running to the left side of their offensive line, which had produced more yards and given up no sacks all year, and they run to the short side, the weak side, and they have their running back throwing a halfback option pass.
Right.
I was like, thank you, Kansas?
Well, and the other thing, too, what do we know about throwing when you get inside the 5-yard line? It's just...
You run out of real estate.
You do. And unless you've got somebody that can really throw a fade or really throw a bullet, or you got a big tight end or something like that. And there was a mismatch at the end of the end zone, at the back of the end zone.
You compress your playbook when you start doing things. When you get inside the 20, you compress your playbook because of the number of things that you can do, because the defense is now compressed, and the end line becomes their 12th defender.
Yeah, I didn't talk to either one of my buddies after the game who were at the game. I wonder if they were saying to themselves, "Hey, run the damn ball." It's
a familiar refrain.
Right? You got Devin Neal, who rushed for 137 yards on the ball game. He too did not have any rushes for loss.
Yeah, but
he ran it 19 times for 100. But you take away the 60, and so it's 18 times for 97. It's not as impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
But
he almost dropped the C note on you. Still, if he had run 18 for 101, would you be okay? Because I'm not going to split hairs over 3 yards.
Okay,
or 4 yards. But I mean, the reality is, he had a decent day. They had an opportunity to.
They did not put the ball in his hands.
Well, they did. They just used it the wrong way.
Used it the wrong way, right? So now you don't have to use your second timeout.
No.
And so now you have an incomplete pass, and now they've got to kick the field goal. And look at that angle and all those kinds of things, man. It's no gimme.
This is where field goal kicking in college football really, the NFL,
because the hash marks.
You've got another 4 yards out there on the hash mark, the 3 yards on the hash marks, and it's significant.
It's wider.
When you get down there and you're snapping from the 3 or 4.
I think it was the right hash too that he kicked it from.
That's a tough angle. You see kickers, literally turning their bodies to kick that way, and that's you're compressing the area they've got to kick it through.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then of course the Red Raiders, then they go on their drive, and did you? Okay, at that point in time, so the game's tied. There's 26 seconds left. Did you think we were going to see a kneel down and go to overtime?
No, I thought we would try to throw the ball, and if you could get positive yards, you had those 2 timeouts in your pocket. You could use the middle of the field. I thought we were going to try to get the ball to a point we could throw it to the end zone. That was what I thought.
Okay.
When they made the second throw, and we got beyond the up to the midfield area, I thought, okay, you got yourself in a position where you can throw it. But you called the timeout. You set up a play. You get the good look. Jaron Bradley finally makes a great play, and now you're like, why call it at 7 seconds? That's my question. Why call the timeout at 7 seconds? I'd call it at 3.
Well, anyway, the bottom line is you trot out Gino Garcia, who's kicked a 55-yarder, and even though he missed one in that ball game,
I think that wind
was a factor, right? He hits it, and you win the ball game 16-13. The worst thing about the end of the game was I don't know the severity, and maybe we'll learn some of that today with Coach McGuire. But Joseph Adedire was hurt on that last play with his shoulder when he took down the quarterback Ballard.
Oh,
and he went off holding his shoulder at the end of the game.
Did not see that.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I feel like we're at a smorgasbord today that has, like the best brisket, turkey, ham, pepperoni pizza. You name it. Every little slice of the smorgasbord table is something that's absolutely unbelievable.
Don't overindulge.
And you just want something of everything.
Don't overindulge.
Well, my point is that we've got so much to talk about today. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Half court guy said what he said was, she asked if, "Are you ready?" He said, "I'm born ready." Then he immediately dribbles the ball off his foot. And he was high off the glass.
Oh.
So, yes.
Wow.
Bad high for him.
Yeah.
Bad high for him. High school.
Let the guy celebrate, man. He's got to let him be high on life.
Well, he was, and he missed the shot. High school fan zone tonight. Coaches from Coronado and Estacado. Estacado was a winner over El Paso Bowie over the weekend, so they'll move on. We learned on Friday, and I guess I learned on Friday, because this was on me, that Pecos is in Texas.
Wait a second, you didn't know that?
I didn't, or I just thought it was in New Mexico.
What?
It was my fault. I owned it.
Did you have one of your, we should be playing these games in Texas game?
I didn't.
And you said, why are we playing this game in Pecos?
No. I just said over in Pecos. Estacado won over Bowie 45-3. How about this for friendship? They beat, and this is a high school football score, they beat Eastwood down in El Paso, the Troopers.
Yeah.
They beat them 87-58.
That's the arch rival of my high school.
Okay, and this was at Troopers Stadium?
Yeah, Eastwood Trooper Stadium.
Okay, Eastwood Trooper Stadium.
That's
okay.
Which is
so.
I want to self-reporting. My high school went to the playoffs, went down to
El Paso Hanks,
and got boat raced by Abilene High, like 84-14. It was embarrassing. I was absolutely horrified.
Well, that's too bad. That is too bad. So El Paso, Estacado advances and Friendship advances, and again, it doesn't matter. They advance 87-58. I know your defense gave up 58 points, but your offense scored.
No,
87.
We should be concerned with style points, Chuck.
And I thought it was crazy on the Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show. I did my final mow of the year, final edge and mow of the year on Saturday after the Tech KU game.
Cool. Got
myself, so I'm good to go now, and we're
is your lawn totally dormant now?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I mowed it pretty short, so
yeah, same.
So I'm hopeful that was the final mow of the year
last Sunday.
Yeah, so I just didn't have time to do it last week. But anyway, there we go. 7:18 this morning on the morning drive. We'll have Lady Raider basketball tonight to take on Lamar.
You were saying something. You said on the chat line. You said something. You started your thought, and then you talked about your mow.
I said the half court guy said we were talking about that.
No, you said something else. And then you said I did my final mow and edge of the year.
Okay.
I mean, you totally tangented it off.
I'm sorry. Well, that happens on this show.
I'm aware.
There is one in New Mexico. I did not know that.
Well, they didn't play there.
But they didn't play there. They played at the Texas Pecos. A spectacular weekend for Red Raider sports, soccer, women's basketball, football, and men's basketball all winning. We've not talked any about and volleyball too. They beat West Virginia. We haven't talked about the soccer yet, but man, that's outstanding. They get a win and they get to move on, and they'll play Princeton in second round action.
Got a big win over Michigan, which was interesting because I assumed that all the higher seeds played at home, but it looked as if Princeton went on the road. Is that correct? Somebody, if Tom, if you're listening, did that happen like that? I was just looking at the bracket. They had Princeton was on the top.
They played Michigan, right?
Yeah, and Michigan was on the bottom. I thought the home team was usually listed on the bottom. I don't know the answer to that.
So anyway, that's really cool for the Red Raider soccer team as they won it 1-0. So now the Red Raiders will play host to Alabama, North Carolina, and Princeton. Alabama will face North Carolina at 2:30 on Friday. Tech and Princeton will play at 6 on Friday, and then the two winners will meet on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
So that's interesting because the first round was played almost like, it's home sites, almost like a super regional, and then the second round is played almost like a regional, with the three teams coming to town.
All session ticket packages are available at the Tech Ticket Office. $15 for adults and $8 for youth 2 through 17.
So
the all session includes a game ticket for both games on Friday, as well as the third round matchup on Sunday. And there were like 1,500 people there Friday night.
Well, that's capacity. Get it there. And Friday, weather's supposed to be pretty good, right?
I have not looked ahead.
Highs in the 70s, I think.
Have not looked ahead of the.
I'm going to look right now. High of 64.
64. That's
Thursday 71. Friday 64 and cloudy. Saturday.
Mine says 67, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your Android, but
okay.
Siri told me 64, and I believe her.
Okay. So we'll have that, and then the Texas Tech football game, the final game of the year home game of the year, will be against Central Florida on Saturday at 4. Our Optimum Game Day Live coverage begins at 7. Are you more worried about Central Florida?
No.
Okay.
I'm not. I think
Texas.
what you saw Saturday was absolute
hangover.
Yeah, you saw a convergence of three things actually. Central Florida starting to, they got to come in after the big emotional win. OU was patting themselves on the back.
OSU.
OSU patting themselves on the back after the biggest emotional win of their season, and Alan Bowman turned into Alan Bowman.
Okay. Brian says this, in soccer it's reversed. Home team is listed first.
How about that?
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. You're learning stuff all the time on this show.
You do. I mean, people will educate you.
Yeah.
They'll humble you and educate you all in the same day. Okay.
Wait a second. What, Jeff?
Well, I don't know, because if you compare it to the Tech one, Tech is listed second.
Upon further review.
He may be late. I'm just looking at the current bracket because I'm trying to figure this out too.
Yeah.
So
Big to recap for this
Big 12 play this weekend. UCF, your next opponent, was a big winner over Oklahoma State. I mean, they throttled them, just absolutely throttled them.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, OSU.
45-3 was the final. And then West Virginia got throttled by Oklahoma 59-20. K-State also a winner over Baylor 59-25. Maybe I think this was a little bit of a surprise. Cincinnati winning at Houston 24-14.
Yeah.
I think that was a little bit of a surprise. Do you think Dana Holgerson's done there?
I don't think they're going to re-extending him anytime soon.
Do you think they're going to replace him anytime soon?
Well,
is he the coach
for a job?
Is he the coach? Is he the coach next year? I don't think Jimbo Fisher's going to Houston.
Why not?
He might go to Houston.
He can work for free.
He might go to Houston, but he's might go to Houston for a steak dinner, but he's not going to Houston to coach the Cougars. And then Iowa State just blew out BYU to get bowl eligible, 45-13. So, hey, let me ask you this, because Dickens floated this the other day on Tech Talk.
Yeah.
Was this Joey McGuire's biggest win of his Texas Tech career?
So a road win against a ranked opponent, it could be. I mean, it may not sound very sexy to Tech fans, and it was pretty ugly getting there, but which is, for me, I'm going to answer your question. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But for me, I'm having a hard time. I mean, didn't we just beat a ranked team on the road?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm curious.
Is Kansas allowed to be ranked?
I mean, still, it's Kansas, and I know we're 23-2 all time against them. I know everyone thinks we'd all circle this as a win before.
Free space on bingo. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this team was ranked, and last time I checked, they beat OU 2 weeks ago, and
Princeton played at home, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
And beat Iowa State on the road.
Yeah.
That was their first win over a ranked team since like 2008.
So, I mean, I'm having a hard time why all the vitriol over this win.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Time now for Jamie's Question of the Day, brought to you by someone not named Jamie.
Jamie out today. Chris Snead's in for him. So your question for Jeff and I, sir.
Here we are just past the midway season of the National Football League.
Okay.
I guess ask this a couple of different ways. What team, I'll just ask it like this. What team has exceeded your expectations? What team has met your expectations? What team has underachieved in your expectations?
Okay.
While he looks, Detroit way exceeded expectations. Like, I wasn't expecting them to be like garbage. Don't get me wrong, but was not expecting this kind of start from the Lions.
Yeah.
You never expect this kind of start from the Lions.
And certainly the way they won yesterday, too.
This is like the Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the Lions to be this good ever. Like, I keep looking for Barry Sanders coming out of the backfield for how good they've been this year.
What a two-headed monster, Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meeting expectations so far? I mean, this sounds a little silly for what I've said in the past, but Cowboys are about where I thought they'd be. Second place in the NFC East. They're destroying bad teams and not playing well against good teams with a couple of head-scratching games throughout the season. That's kind of what I figured they would be. As for not meeting expectations, I thought San Francisco would be playing better than they have been. Great, I know they got the win on Sunday, but you'd figure they would have had the 0 next to their name the way they had been playing up until the last few weeks.
Okay. I'll say for me, I mean, so far the Chiefs have met expectations. I know they're 7-2, but they're doing this with a revamped line, revamped receivers, same quarterback. Defense is playing much better. I don't know if they're going to win the AFC again, but they're going to win the AFC West. They lead the Vegas Raiders by 2 games. Wish they had beaten the Broncos the second game, but hey, even a blind squirrel. I think you could say the same thing about the Eagles of meeting expectations because they're 8-1. They may be the best team in the NFL. Right now, they're the best team in the NFC. I don't think there's any question about that. I do agree with Jeff on exceeding expectations with regard to Detroit, and not meeting expectations. I mean, for as much as they were ballyhooed, and I realized that Aaron Rodgers going out, but that's one aspect. But then how about the New England Patriots? They're 2-8. They're 2-8. They got deeper problems than who the starting quarterback is.
Yeah,
because I don't even think Tom Brady fixes that. All right, how about you?
For exceeding expectations right now, and this, my answer would have been different before yesterday's game. I'm going to go the Houston Texans.
Oh, okay. That's a good
all
one.
of a sudden, C.J. Stroud is doing everything that they thought Mac Jones would be doing, even Bryce Young. Meeting expectations, probably would say the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I thought they would be at that in that division, leading that division. Not meeting expectations, underachieving, the Bengals. Woof.
Yeah, they lost yesterday too.
Yeah, I mean they are finding new and exciting ways to lose games.
They're 5-4, and this is a team that they thought could contend for the AFC.
They are in last place in the AFC North, and dude,
they may not make the playoffs.
Yeah, you could probably go all three, exceeding, underachieving, and meeting out of the AFC North, and you would have a tie probably with the Steelers and the Browns. I mean, the Browns. I mean, Deshaun Watson.
He gutted it out yesterday.
Yeah, love him or hate him for what he does off the field, but starting to play like the guy that
they gave all that money to. Yeah. 7:36 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973.
Quick follow up on that. If you're the Carolina Panthers, hindsight being 2020, would you rather go back and take C.J. Stroud now? Looking at what he's doing down there in Houston? I mean, I know the situations are different. And if you flip the two guys and you put C.J. Stroud in Carolina and Bryce Young in Houston, is Bryce Young the one? Because I think C.J. Stroud's got a little bit better offensive line because Bryce Young's, man, he's got no weapons around him. That team is just, woof. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders.
And Frank Reich, he may lose his gig after 1 year.
Yeah. Hey.
But apparently the owner likes to sit in on meetings and things like that.
Oh, and he just left one bad owner to another bad owner.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Reich, the shine left him when Andrew Luck retired.
It's a challenge.
I mean, maybe finding out it's not so much the scheme as it is the players you got.
Meanwhile, how about Dak yesterday and the Cowboys? I mean, I know they're playing the Giants, and I know that they were expected to win, but still, I mean, it didn't start off swimmingly well for them. It's the first series they went for it on 4th and 1 and failed to score. I mean, they had it inside the 5.
Just take the points.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they probably wanted to establish something there. And
establish a lead. 3-0's a lead.
God.
I mean, some of these. Okay. I said I wasn't going to yell.
Why are you waving me off? You need to respect my fastball.
No.
Okay. Fastball.
I mean, they got it down to there was a 4th and goal at the New York 2. Tony Pollard went up the middle for a yard.
Just take the 3 points, man. I mean, it's a gimme 3 points, man.
I mean, the Cowboys just beat them. Beat them.
I get it. I mean, and I don't want to be Monday morning quarterbacks over here. I mean, and it's not like, I guess you're just saying to yourself, this is Giants. I mean, they got Danny DeVito over there playing quarterback. I know it's
still living at home. It's Tommy DeVito.
I'm aware. Yeah. I said that on purpose.
Okay.
And mommy and daddy are sitting in the stands over there questioning the play calls, which is awesome.
And meanwhile, she's making his bed and tucking him in at night.
There's some cool things I would like you to hear about my family. The fact that my mom's making me dinner and making my bed every day ain't one thing I want to get out there. You just lost cool points all over the world.
You don't have to tell us that. I mean,
it can happen. You don't have to let us know.
We're all guilty of oversharing, but that's probably something you probably could have just kept to yourself.
That's probably the least cool thing you could probably tell the world right there, that your mom's still making your bed.
Dak, 26 of 35, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns, did have a pick. But then, man, how about the receiving? Brandon Cooks, 9 for 173, touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 11 for 151, touchdown. Third straight game, 10 or more.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Chris Snead and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today. Have the Cowboy Hour at 6, Broncos and the Bills, Monday Night Football tonight at 7. I think that's what I was trying to get to when I distracted myself about 15, 20 minutes, hour ago. Just telling you who the Monday night game was tonight. I think I was trying to get to that.
What's happening on the Cowboy Hour tonight?
It's a Victory Monday.
4.
Okay. Why do you think I say that a lot? Is that why you're counting today? Do you think that I say that quite a bit? The Victory Monday?
5.
It's a double Victory Monday because you have Texas Tech and you have the Cowboys. And then, of course, Red Raider basketball, too, from yesterday. That makes it a Victory Monday as well.
7.
And then soccer, and West Virginia lost to the Red Raider volleyball team, and the Lady Raider win on Friday night. There's more Victory Mondays.
8.
Victory Monday.
9.
Victory Monday.
10.
There you go. We have a little breaking news for you. Breaking news from Mississippi State land, Starkville.
Stark Vegas.
Mississippi State has fired head football coach Zach Arnett. He didn't even make it a year. He was named the head football coach December 15th following the death of then head coach Mike Leach. In fact, he was named the interim coach when we barely found out that Coach Leach had suffered a heart attack. I mean, it was literally, it was within hours. They knew what we all know now, that the heart attack and what took place was not going to be survivable for Coach Leach. But, they went 5-6, including 4-6 this year. They won their bowl game. But, I don't know, it seems like a pretty quick trigger on that. Maybe it was too quick a trigger to name him the head coach in the first place.
I officially have no comment.
Okay. May have been too quick a trigger to name him in the first place. Zach Selman is the director of athletics. Of course, he says this: I have the utmost respect for Zach Arnett and incredibly appreciative of the effort he put in leading our football program. However, the progress and on-field results have not been the standard required for Mississippi State to achieve the level of success we need and expect. Dude, I don't know what you're looking at, but I don't know that you've had that much success there. Okay? You've had some, but not that much, even with Mike Leach. Meanwhile, Texas A&M looking for a football coach as they fired Jimbo Fisher. God, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Giving him, and I don't know if he'll get the full 75, because there may be a settlement that might take place there or something along those lines, but it'll be interesting to see who gets that job. The rumor mill includes Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, Dan Lanning, and Mike Elko, although there are some that would say those are just names being floated by their agents to get them either more money or just some publicity. So we'll see. Not that Lane Kiffin needs any publicity, but we'll see. Have you all talked about the A&M job? Aggies are convinced Jesus would return to coach the team. It's that great of a job. I don't know. I think if Jesus came back, he'd probably say, "Man, I got a lot bigger fish to fry than Texas A&M football." Right.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Maybe want to fix that world hunger problem.
Yeah,
that peace in the Middle East.
We got
peace in Europe.
I don't know, man. I got a full boat here. I can't take on.
I'll get to that A&M job here real soon. Hold on.
I can't take on you guys. Let me get my whiteboard out here. No, I'm sorry.
Of course. Then 10 Aggies get together and decide, well, we'll write a check.
Then they'll go. Then they'll go. Oh, Jesus, guy, man, he's just not working out.
How big's that buyout?
Oh man, that's unbelievable.
That is, you and I are both going to go to the bad
Aggie
place.
football is proof that money doesn't buy happiness. I think it's funny for them. What a nasty payout to be hanging over them. They've got to figure it out. And hey, 12th man's going to take care of that, man. 12th man, take care of that.
Do you think it was?
Albert says that's
I
the smartest
officially
thing
have
you
no
said all
comment.
morning. Albert says that's the smartest thing you've said all morning, Chuck. What about the Michigan interim blubbering foul words? Yeah, I thought that was terrible. It's a terrible look for Michigan. Terrible look for him. I mean, just answer the question and get out of there. Hey, we're happy about the win. We're excited about what took place. I mean, if you want to get emotional about Jim Harbaugh, you can. You can do that without using the words that he used on national television. It's just terrible look for him. I think it's terrible.
Was that in the live interview after the game?
Yeah.
Would it have been better on local television?
No, it's better for him just to say.
Well, no, you just made a point to on national television.
Yeah, even local television. Even if it was on the radio broadcast. Even if it was on the lowest rated AM radio station stick in the history of the world that only got 5 people listening to it. It's terrible. It's a bad look. Yeah, I thought that was, and I think the whole Harbaugh. I mean, I realize there's some people that are outraged, that are going to be Michigan fans, that are going to just have their blue in their eyes and can't wipe that out. But to me, what Harbaugh and Michigan have done is it's a bad look. I think they took it past the level of what most teams take.
No, Chuck. No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You are absolutely wrong. I know you want to go flat bases on this. You are wrong. Everybody in the world is doing this.
Doesn't make it right, Chris.
Okay.
It doesn't make it right because I think Michigan went above and beyond what the other schools are doing.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly, Chuck, I respect you. I love you, man. I disagree with you. If you think that this is I disagree with you, Chuck.
Okay.
I really, really disagree with you.
Okay. Well, I'd be curious as to how many people disagree with me on the Harbaugh thing. Overreaction. The only thing I will say about the Harbaugh thing is I don't think.
Which Harbaugh thing? You've said a couple Harbaugh things.
I don't think that the Big Ten should have suspended him without at least some kind of a hearing. Okay. I don't think
that's a bad look for them. I think it was a bad look for them to do it when they knew he was on an airplane flying to the game.
Yeah, they should have done it before he got on the plane.
Yeah, they should have met him there, and they knew they could have.
They should have done this on Thursday.
2 phone calls, they could have figured this out. They tried as hard as they could to do a Friday news dump on this as they could, and they did this.
I think extra Friday news dump because you couldn't get to a court on Friday.
Yeah, I think that was a chicken bleep move by them to do that.
Somebody says this overreaction for Harbaugh and Michigan, basically nothing for Kansas and their coach. Bill Self. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's what I say.
That's a fair comment. Did you guys see the halftime presentation of a $100 million check from 12th Man Foundation to Aggie Athletics? Fired Jimbo hours later. Yeah, I heard about it. I guess I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that the pot was right. Right? Is the pot right? The pot right. Yeah, we
have no comment on that.
We got the money. Everyone is stealing signs. They're just better at it. No, they're not. They're not better at it. They're worse at it because they got caught.
No, what Michigan did was they had a guy who was doing it that was bragging about it.
Okay, and I firmly believe that Harbaugh knew this guy was doing it, and they funded this guy to do it, and they did it more than what the other people are doing it.
You think, Chuck?
I do think that.
No. Do you think every coach knows about that? Do you think?
Look, the head coach has got to be responsible at the end of the day.
Why do you think that they've got 3 guys over there giving fake signals? Why do you think that they use all those cards? Why do you think that they hold up all these signs?
I understand all that. I understand what you're saying. I just think Michigan took it to a level that was way past what the level of comfort was.
No, they just had a guy who
they were driving 100 in a 75 as opposed to 80 in a 75.
They had a guy that couldn't stop running his mouth. That's the only difference between them and everybody else.
You know what? Then they should have fired him way before they did.
Probably, but he's probably the son of a booster.
No.
Because they had ultimate jock sniffer in that job. Couldn't wait to tell everyone what he was doing.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.